Now, I know you've probably noticed it. More for sale signs in Mississauga. Friends are talking about Hamilton, Kitchener, even leaving the GTA completely. But every time you see a market report, it sounds like things are fine. Average prices are sitting just under $1 million, with roughly 1,000 new listings hitting the market in November, and the most November inventory we've seen in over 15 years. So why does it feel like more people than ever are quietly planning their exit? What is up, beautiful people? My name is Matt Moy, a full-time real estate agent here in the Greater Toronto area, and I pull these numbers every single month for buyers and sellers across Mississauga, Brampton, and the rest of the GTA. And in this video, we're gonna break down what the documents and reports are actually saying about Mississauga, the 3 big pressure points pushing families to consider leaving, where people are going instead, and how to decide if you should stay, move within Mississauga, or leave completely. If you're watching this because you're not sure what your next move should be, whether it's stay put, upsize, or leave Mississauga, you don't have to guess. You can book a free 15-minute discovery call with me using the link in the description below or scanning the QR code right here on the screen. We'll look at your budget, your commute, your family's needs, and I'll show you exactly what your options actually look like in today's market. All right, let's talk about what's actually going on here. On the surface, the numbers don't sound that dramatic. As of late 2025, the average home in Mississauga is selling for around $950,000 to $970,000. Benchmark prices break down like this: detached homes around 1.1 to 1.2 million, townhomes around 740,000, and condos around 574,000. Homes are taking about 5 to 6 weeks to sell, and most properties are still getting around 96% of their asking price. Now, if you only look at those numbers, it sounds like a normal, slightly slower market. But here's what those same reports don't actually highlight. New listings in November were just over 1,000. Active listings were over 2,200. That's the highest level in more than 15 years. That's a lot of people raising their hand and saying, I'm open to moving. At the same time, for the first time in its history, Mississauga's population actually dipped a bit between the last 2 censuses, from about 720,000 down to about 718,000, while parts of the GTA like downtown Toronto are still adding people and new households. So more homes are sitting on the market and the city isn't growing the way that it used to. That's the quiet signal that families are not just thinking about leaving, some of them are actually doing it. So let's look at why. The first and biggest pressure point is simple. Mississauga housing doesn't line up with a lot of household incomes anymore. If you're a growing family and you want a 3 or 4 bedroom detached home with a backyard, you're staring at a price that's in the $1.1 to $1.2 million range. Even if you're looking at a townhouse, $700,000 plus is very normal right now. Here's what I'm seeing over and over again. Families who bought a condo or a small townhouse years ago thought they'd be able to step up into a detached home in the same neighborhood. Mortgage rates went up, prices stayed high, and now the gap between what they own and what they want is bigger than ever. On paper, they're doing well, but in reality, upgrading inside Mississauga feels almost impossible. And when they compare that to other cities, the math gets even more frustrating. Right now, Hamilton's average price is in the low 700s. Kitchener-Waterloo is also in the low 700s overall. Oshawa is around 740,000. So in many cases, someone can sell a modest home in Mississauga, move to one of these markets, and either get a larger detached home or drop their mortgage payment while keeping a similar home. That's a hard comparison to ignore. The second pressure point isn't just about money, it's day-to-day grind. If you live anywhere near the 401, 403, or QEW, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just getting out of Mississauga during rush hour can take 30 to 40 minutes before you even feel like you're on your way. Add construction, the new LRT work, school drop-offs, and it's a lot of time just sitting in traffic. For a typical family, one spouse works downtown or in another city, the other is juggling daycare, school runs, maybe a part-time job locally. By the time everyone gets home, you've lost 2 to 3 hours a day just moving around the city. On top of that, services are stretched. hospitals, schools, community programs. It's all still good compared to a lot of places, but you can feel that Mississauga was built for a smaller population than the one living here now. People aren't just running from the prices, they're running from feeling like they never have time or space. The third pressure point is the cost of simply existing here. Yes, your mortgage or your rent is a big piece, but then you have groceries, gas, utilities, childcare, and then car insurance. Mississauga consistently shows up as one of the most expensive places in Ontario for auto insurance. Average premiums are around $3,500 per year, roughly $700 more than the provincial average, and the GTA overall sits well above the rest of the province. So if you're a two-car household, just auto insurance alone can easily be $6,000 to $7,000 a year. That's before you talk about property taxes, condo fees, or repairs. When we sit down and actually add everything up, housing, commuting, insurance, childcare, some families are shocked to realize that moving 1 hour away can sometimes free up $1,000 or more every month. Not because the house is dramatically cheaper, but because all of the little costs stack differently. That's why so many people aren't just browsing for fun. They're actively comparing Mississauga to other cities. From what I'm seeing with clients and from the numbers, there are just a few main destinations: Hamilton and Burlington. Hamilton gives you a mix of older neighborhoods, a revitalized downtown, and more space for the money. Average prices in the low 700,000s make it possible for a lot of Mississauga owners to finally get that detached home with a yard. Burlington is more expensive, but for some families, the lakeside lifestyle and quieter feel are worth the premium. Kitchener-Waterloo has turned into a serious tech and education hub. Average prices in the low 700,000s mean a townhouse sale in Mississauga can sometimes convert into a detached home there without increasing your payment as much as you think. Durham region, Oshawa and beyond, is where people look when they want a detached home but don't want to leave the GTA completely. Oshawa's average prices are still in the mid 700,000s. Commutes can be longer, but for some, the trade-off of a bigger home and lower overall costs is worth it. Then you've got people who are done with the big city life altogether. Places like Niagara, smaller towns across Ontario, even out the province. For them, it's about space, quiet, and a completely different pace of life. So what do you do with all of this? If you own in Mississauga and feel stuck, don't rush to leave just because other people are. We look at specific pockets inside the city where prices have softened, or at almost detached options like freehold townhomes with real backyards. At the same time, we compare that to what your life would look like in Hamilton, Kitchener, or Durham, commute included. Sometimes the answer is just stay and make the smarter move inside the city. Sometimes the answer is cash out and reset somewhere else. If you're renting and trying to buy your first place, if you need to stay close to work or family, we'd focus on condos and townhouses in Mississauga and neighboring parts of Toronto. If you're more flexible, that's where Hamilton, Kitchener-Waterloo, or Oshawa come into play, because your down payment stretches a lot further there. Either way, the next 6 to 12 months are about being realistic on budget and very picky about what you buy. If you're seriously thinking about leaving the GTA, we're having a different conversation at that point. What do you want your daily life to actually look like? How much commuting are you willing to do? And what happens to your job or income if you move? In a lot of cases, the sweet spot is selling in Mississauga, buying in a more affordable city, and keeping a GTA level income for as long as possible. That's how you really get ahead. Mississauga is still an amazing city. The problem isn't that it's a bad place to live. The problem is that the costs, the traffic, and the pressure have slowly crept up to a point where a lot of families just feel like they're hanging on. On paper, again, it looks fine. But when you talk to people at the parks, on the GO train, at open houses, you realize there's a quiet exodus happening. Some will move 1 or 2 cities over. Some will leave the GTA completely. The key is making that move on your own terms, not out of panic. If you want help mapping that out, the link for a free 15-minute call is in the description down below, and there's a QR code somewhere right here on the screen. We'll look at your numbers and build out a plan that actually fits your life. And if you want to see how this compares to what's happening right next door in Brampton, where for sale signs are popping up everywhere, watch this one right here. That video breaks down why so many Brampton families are just packing up, where they're going, so you can see the full picture before you decide. I'll see you there.